Alright guys, so I'm doing a deck build here on Infamous Snorlax page, and name's Mag King. We're doing an Ancient World budget deck profile. Still pretty viable. I took it to Houston Regionals for the free fights, and ended up doing really good against ADAs, Thunder Empire bots, and really, believe it or not, Levantine, because you know, there's a certain card here. It's a one-up tech that you can use when you link attack. You can just start popping items. It's really good. So let's get into the deck build. Your flag obviously is Ancient World. And then your buddy here is right here. It's Ricky. It's the Invincible Bonds, Ricky, and Raging Spirit. So what it does, if you would call a size 3 Ancient World monster, the gauge cost in its call cost is reduced by 1. So let's say you're doing Seeger or Spartan. I think it was Spartan. He's a gauge cost of 3. It'll essentially be a 2. So this is a universal, you know, Ancient World card. If you ever want to run as a buddy and you can't like afford Centurion, or you can't find dual Seeger SDs, this is a really good backup. So without further ado, let's get into the deck build. Let's see if I can find it all. Did a really bad job out of ripping this apart. So obviously you want to do a full playset of your buddy. 1, 2, 3. Yep, right there. So obviously buddy sets of your Ricky, you know, Invincible Bonds, you know, really good card to have around. You always want to open with this card if you can. And then let's get into the main killer of this deck. Main killer of this deck, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, yes, it is Chaos Billion Knuckle. Chaos Billion Knuckles is just, you know, one of those cards that states, hey, I'm here. You have to swing at me. But a cool thing about him is once per turn, he can, you know, he can ping you for 1. And you can nullify his destruction once. And I know that sounds really bad because you're like, oh wait, what about the guys that have triple attack or double attack? Well, we're gonna get into what cards can get around it. So he has his call cost is, you know, put the top card of your deck into his soul and pay 2 gauge. But if you have your buddy out, he's 1 gauge cost. Counteract, you may pay 1 life. If you do for this turn, the next time this card will be destroyed, nullify its destruction. You may only use his ability once per turn. And he has double attack, soul guard, counter attack, and lifelink 3. And believe it or not, you're probably not going to ever see him destroyed. So he's great. Into your backup card. Yes, it is going to be it's going to be Chaos Champion Lord. I think I only played 2 in here. Let me go through this and double check. Yeah, Champion Lord I only played 2 of. He's a really good backup as well. He his call cost is, you know, same thing as his brother. Put the top card of your deck into his soul and pay 2 gauge. And when your opponent attacks, you can change the target of the attacks to him as well. So really good between him and Billion Knuckle if you can go into them. Counter skill though, he's more of an aggressive card. He states you pay 1 life. If you do for this turn, he gets +1 critical and penetrate. And it's really good because, you know, he has double attack. So you're gonna go, oh, boom, 3, okay. Boom, 3. And especially if you have a card in the center, I mean, he's got really good attack power, especially at 9k. You know, and really good defense like his brother at 6k. You know, a lot of the early cards can't really keep up with it, like if they're just swamped and playing size 1s. So, yeah, 2 of that. Let's get into the Burn Novas in the deck. I play a playset of Full Blast Omnilord Burn Nova. Yep, Omnilord can play at any deck, and if it's not Ancient World, it's a 1-of. He states his call cost is put the top card of your deck into his soul, and pay 3 gauge. You know, obviously 1 less if Ricky's out. And then when your opponent attacks, change the target of the attack to this card. And like if you just say you can't hit Billion Knuckle or Champion Lord early on, this is an 8/2/8. He's really good to sit on. He's got good defense. He's triple attack and soul guard, and his lifelink is not that bad either. With lifelink of 3, you know, really good card. So play set of that. And there's one more Burn Nova we run in here. Let's get it out.
He likes my shoes. That's what I use for work.
I run 1 First Emperor of Manliness Burn Nova. Omnilord effect. His call cost is 2 gauge. counters. He has a counterplay skill, really and truly. During your opponent's turn, you can call this card from your hand by paying its call cost. And if you called it when you have 5 or less life, you gain 3 life. So yes, if you call it at 5, you're gonna have 8 life. Really good card. So 1 of. And then the last tech of the deck for the monsters. There really isn't a lot of creatures I play in this deck, and this is my one really good tech. It's the Adventurer Bond. You can't call him to the center. And if you originally have a size 2 or greater Adventure or Raging Spirit, he becomes a size 0. And when you link attack with him, he can destroy an item on your opponent's field. So, hey Levantine, what's up? That'll be it for all the monsters. Let's get into the spells. So I play for my counters. I play 4 of a Dragon's Will. You can only cast this card when you have a size 3 monster on your field. When a size 3 monster on your field is being attacked. So you nullify the attack and you take 1 card from the top of your deck and add to your gauge. So really good for resource. Next counter card we play is a playset of Gathering of the Armed Dragons. Gathering of the Armed Dragon states counter, play for free. Choose a Raging Spirits in battle, and for this battle only, it gets +3 power and +3 defense along with counterattack. So it's cards like Burn Nova. You can just make it an 11/11, and it's going to counterattack whatever hits it. So it's really good to play on that. Got one more counter in here to show you. At least I believe it's one more counter. Alright, so 2 of Dragon and Strong. Dragon of Strong states choose a size 3 Dragon Chief Emperor on your field, and for this turn, then the next time it will be destroyed, you gain a life and it remains on the field. So let's say you're out of soul cards and you really want to keep him on field, or Billion Knuckle. Just play it, nullify it, gain a life. And this is not a once per turn card. If you have both in hand, just play them both. Go play, alright. In response to your next attack, I'm going to play the second one. You just gained 2 life and kept Billion Knuckle on board. Now to get into all the tech. So I play... I play 2 Dragon Dreams because life gain, why not? Gain 3 life, pretty simple. Next card is going to be my draw card. I play a playset of Divine Dragon Creation. Divine Dragon Creation, you pay 2 life and you draw 2 cards, but you can only do it once per turn. So turn 1, play it, draw 2 cards, get clutch Billion Knuckle, game. Next card I'm going to show you is really and truly like the best card to have in the soul in this deck. It's 4 of Corrosion Prothesis. Corrosion Prothesis is a Chaos card, but it is an Ancient World card. So you just basically put this card into the soul of a monster, and when the monster with this card in its soul is attacked, you gain a life. I've essentially gone into this from the there's a way to pull it from the drop if it ends up in the gauge. I've had all 4 into Billion Knuckle, and I was fighting Gear God. And, you know, I had to link attack to beat it over the head, but I won the game. It was one of my longest games ever to win. But yeah, best card in the deck right there. Totally recommend it. Next card is going to be Dragon Emperor Legend at 4. I've got 2 of the Trial Deck rarities, and then 2 from EB01. Card states you put the top card of your deck into the gauge, gain a life, and draw a card, but you can only cast it once per turn. So really good early on, especially when you have a lot of utility in hand. Last spell, I run only 2 of Rise and Fall of Dragons. You don't really need a lot of gauge in this deck. The only time you're going to need it is whenever you're going to go back to back with your impacts. But yeah, any more than 2 you're going to clog up with it. Now to get into our items, only play 4 Childhood Carapace and Man's Tears. Really good item. You equip it for 1 gauge. Its skill states when a card on your opponent's field attacks, if you have a size 3 Raging Spirit on your field, you draw a card, but it's only once per turn. I was originally playing 6 items, 2 being just the Nilla Fist. Didn't really work. I have my my Bond Armor from 100 Demons. I want to throw it in, but I might just take out Dragon Dreams to put it in. But other than that, this has been really... I've been hitting it every game. It doesn't flood in the deck. You can fish it out pretty quick. I mean, you can sit on Billion Knuckle and Champion Lord all game if you wanted to. And then for impacts, I play 4 unmatched and all C. Birth of a Chief. It's not a physical impact. It doesn't deal any damage. It's just defense. It builds soul. You pay 1 gauge and choose a size 3 monster on the field, and you put a card from the drop into and this card into soul. So let's say your corrosion prothesis are in there. You go, all right, impact. I'm gonna take corrosion, and it and myself are gonna go in the soul. And while it's in the soul of a size 3 monster, its abilities cannot be nullified. So let's say you're playing Overturned Drum for a really good example, because he's really good to fight Ozzy Dahaka. When he swings, he nullifies your abilities, including your Soul Guard. So you're dead when he attacks you, and this just ends it completely. So yeah, that's the deck build. I didn't pay more than $25 for this, and that's not counting some of the cards I own, because this is like $3 I want to say. But it's a really cheap deck, really fun deck to build. Only card you're gonna have a problem finding is probably gonna be Chaos Champion Lord. It's a dual chest card. But yeah, that's it for the deck list.
Oh no, they got re-edited.